everyone, your godmother is here, and I have a very special guest in the studio, Mike Vega, or MichaelVReviews, who is a horror fan, and we're going to talk about our top 5 horror films of 2025. Now, a little behind the curtains here. It's not the end of the year when we're recording. It's almost the end of the year. So something might pop up that we've missed, we haven't seen yet. There will be some surprises. There will be some snubs. There'll be some honorable mentions as well. And we're just going to go through the 5, the 4, the 3, the 2, the 1. Please let us know in the comments if you agree with us, disagree with us, what your top 5 are. We would love to hear it. So, Mike, thank you so much for being here with me tonight.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate the invite. I look forward to getting through the list here and seeing, which ones we have the same and where we kind of have a difference. And I think it's probably going to be a difference in taste. So I'm excited to get through them.
I think I'm excited to see that as well. So why don't we dive in? I'm doing these fancy banners as a way. This way, people on the YouTube, people from the future scrolling through YouTube, you can just like scroll around if you're like, I really don't care about number 5. I want to get to that meat and potatoes. I want to get to number 2. So I'm going to put up these little banners.
I like the intro, by the way. The intro was awesome. That was great.
Oh, thank you, my godmother intro. Well, you happen to know the person who did, the woman who did the artwork for that.
That's awesome. Love it. Love it.
All right, Mike, so I'm dying to know, what's your number 5?
Okay, so for number 5, I'm at Bring Her Back, written by Danny and Michael Philippou. I'm sorry if I mispronounced it, but that's starring Sally Hawkins and as Laura, and Billy Barrett. So the movie was a follow-up to one of my favorite horror movies in the last 5 years, which was Bring Her Back. Mm-hmm. So I love Bring Her Back. So I actually watched that this year, and I found out that not Bring Her Back. It's,
Talk to Me.
Talk to Me. Talk to Me. Yeah, so I love Talk to Me. So it's the same guys who wrote and directed that, I believe. So I was excited to watch this one. I liked it, but it's at number 5 for a reason. There was a few things that I was disappointed with. The ending, I was a little disappointed with. But as far as the movie goes, I mean, it's, 2 kids get adopted, and the person who adopts them, who is, I think that's Sally Hawkins' character, he's into the occult, and I don't know how far we're getting deep into like spoilers. I won't spoil it.
Yeah, try not to spoil, but you can give some synopsis of it.
So she's into an occult, and then that brings in a whole other element of horror. So it had some good horror elements. It had some jump scares, but the ending left me wanting to know one more. I wasn't really satisfied with the ending, but other than that, it was good. It wasn't better than Talk to Me, though.
Okay. I'm not sure. It's been a while since I've seen Talk to Me, but someone very recently brought it up to me. And when they were talking about it, I was like, oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. Now, like it kind of came back. And so if that's your number 5, I can't wait to hear the rest of this list, because that was a little higher for me. My number 5 is one that I feel was overlooked by most audiences, and that's Marshmallow. And it was directed by Daniel Del Purgatorio, and it stars Pearson Fode and my friend Corbin Burnson. And I say my friend because one time I was at a con. I'm not good at cons. I get very easily tired. I'm overstimulated. I'm out of my element. It's not good. But I go. And Corbin Burnson was there, and we were at a impasse together, like waiting for an elevator, whatever it was. We were together, and I thought I knew him. I was so tired that I looked over and I'm like, oh, I know him. And I thought I knew his mother, because his mother used to be on Young and the Restless for like 60 years. So I'm like, hey, Corbin, how are you? And I start talking to him like I know him. And God bless. He's like, hey, sweetheart, how are you? And he like kept, and then midway through talking, I'm like, oh, I don't know him at all. Oh my God. But you know what? God bless, he was a gentleman. He was gracious, and I'll love him forever for not making me feel like an idiot when I was being a complete idiot and talking to him. We were old friends. But anyway, Marshmallow. I went into this film thinking, here I am, summer camp slasher, which I love. I love a summer camp slasher. And it starts off, it's got all the tropes, the bullies and the good kid and the nerdy kids and the whole thing. I'm like, here we go. I love it. All of a sudden, it shifts and it becomes this whole other movie. There's this big twist. I'm not going to spoil it, but it's a big twist. And they do a really good job of marrying those two, the slasher movie and the other one. They do a really good job of smoothly connecting it. They do a wonderful job of explaining without giving you that big expository lump. You know how sometimes you watch like a James Bond movie and the villain's like, before I kill you, I'm going to explain for 25 minutes. They didn't do that. They didn't It was, they trusted the audience to be following along and understand what was going. So Marshmallow, I really, really recommend that people see it. I don't think that enough people have seen it. It's very interesting. The premise is very unique.
Yeah, I didn't watch it, so I got to watch it after this. Yeah, I didn't watch it, but it sounds fun. It sounds like a fun watch. Yeah.
It's super fun. And my husband, who doesn't normally like horror, enjoyed it as well.
Okay. Well, if someone who doesn't like horror likes it, then it's probably a fun movie then.
Yeah, it is good. Okay, Mike, number 4.
So number 4, I'm at Sinners, written and directed by Ryan Coogler, starring Michael B. Jordan ×2, because he plays twins, and then Hailey Steinfeld. So if I say vampire, am I spoiling it here?
No, I think everybody in the world knows that. Okay.
Yeah, so it's a vampire movie based in the 1930s. So, Michael B. Jordan plays twins. They come back to their old town. They open a jukebox, and while they're playing the blues, basically it invites evil. And it's kind of like that old school vampire story where you got to invite the monster in. It's a really fun watch. I think it was a fun watch in the movie theaters as well. It gets worse the second time you watch it because there are some certain things that don't make sense. But the first watch I think is awesome. There's a scene where there's a big music scene. I'm not sure if you watch it, but there's a big music scene in it, and it's something like I've never seen or heard in a movie theater before. And just that scene alone, I think, makes it worth it to watch. And it was a fun experience in the theaters for me.
Okay. That's my probably snub. I don't have it on my list at all.
Mm-hmm. Well, it was early. It was early in the year, closer towards. It was. I almost thought it was a 2024 movie, so I can understand why it's not going to be on some people's list because it was, I think, in January or February when it came out.
You know what happened? I saw it twice, just like you did. And both times I saw it, like I was excited the first time to get into it because everybody's like, you got to see Sinners. You got to see
hype around it. Yeah.
Right? And I love vampire movies. So I was super excited. And then both times I watched with people who weren't into it. And I think that colored my viewing of it because they were kind of like, meh. And so then I was like, oh, okay. Yeah,
I kind of felt that way. I watched it with my little brother. And while we were watching it, I commentate during the movie. So I'm like, what the hell is going on? And then once we get into that music scene, and even there, I'm like, what the hell? But after that, I feel like you actually get into the movie. So I feel like you kind of got to make it past that first hour. And then after, I think it gets better. But yeah, after that second watching, you start kind of picking things apart. And it's kind of like, But I still enjoyed it. I really have it there because of the theater experience. Mm-hmm. I feel like everybody was into it when I was in the theater. So
I really liked how they're doing the antebellum South, and I liked how they had that sort of parallel between the African Americans and the Irish, You know, that's sort of like they were both sort of treated the same way by society at that time. And there was, you know, sort of that, you know, clash between them, but also similarity between them. I thought that was really interesting about it. But.
Right. I've heard that kind of like the struggle and the cultures that come together. Yeah. No, I mean, it's a lot of deep, if you get into it, there is some, you know, a lot of deeper meaning, I think, behind it. Yeah, I think they missed on certain areas, but other than that, like I said, it was fun. And yeah, if you get deeper into it, there's a lot more symbolism, I think, in it too.
Sure.
Yeah, okay. So that's number 4.
My number 4 is The Monkey, directed by Osgood Perkins and starring Theo James. And this is based on a Stephen King novella. And the Stephen King one, the monkey has those symbols, but Disney now owns the right to that image because of Toy Story 3, which I think was the Toy Story where they went to college. I hated that one. So this monkey has like a little drum set. And Osgood Perkins, I often am very critical of him. Like he did Longlegs and he did The Black Coat's Daughter, which I liked both of those films, but I felt like I had to fill in too much of the backstory for it to make sense. I felt like the stories were so ambiguous that I was like writing the script to make it make sense. And I thought I really shouldn't have to do this much work when I'm watching a movie, but I did enjoy them. This one was not like that at all. And this was so funny. The monkey is so funny. And the kills are insane. They're so over the top, gruesome, crazy, gory that you just laugh because you're like, did someone really die that way? That is wild. Which reminds me of, and here comes an honorable mention, Final Destination Bloodlines from this year, which also had some crazy, gruesome kills, and also had the best opener of any movie since probably Scream, the first Scream. Oh, wow. I love the opener of Final Destination Bloodlines. It freaked me out because it's like my most common nightmare. Like
I didn't see it.
You didn't see it? Okay. The first 15 minutes are wild. You have to see it. It's wild. But back to the monkey. It's funny. It's Osgood Perkins, from what I understand. Well, I do know this. I know that his father was Anthony Perkins, who died of AIDS, and his mother, I believe, died in 9/11.
Oh, wow.
So this film is really about just death being so random and chaotic, and there's no rhyme or reason to it. I don't know. I just really latched onto it, and I was like, and I just enjoyed it. I enjoyed it from beginning to end. It was silly. It was completely silly, good, gruesome, gory, crazy, wild. So I do recommend that film for people who have not seen that.
Yeah, what's funny is that's probably an honorable mention for me. It's not on my list. I watched it because I knew we were going to do these reviews, and for some reason I felt like I needed to watch that one. I watched it at first. I didn't like it. As you keep watching, like you said, you kind of get into that universe and what's going on there, and it's fun. And I ended up liking it more than I thought I would. So okay. That's my take on it. But yeah, okay. It was a good time. Yeah.
But didn't make the top 5.
No, it was honorable mention.
Okay, honorable mention. That's fair enough. All right, number 3, Mike.
All right, so number 3 is Companion, written and directed by Drew Hancock. It's starring Jack Quaid and Sophie Thatcher. I didn't think I'd like this one as much as I did, honestly. But for some reason, it stuck with me even after I watched it. It sort of reminded me of this show called Westworld. I'm not sure if you got to watch Westworld before they stopped doing it. But basically, it's an AI human. In Westworld, you have AI humans that are robots. People go there and do whatever they want with them. And then in this world, they actually order these AI human robots. And pretty much the lead actress, Sophie Thatcher, plays a sex robot, essentially. And she's given a whole backstory that she believes. And then I won't get too much into spoilers, but once she realizes that she's a robot, everything kind of goes crazy. And something happens before that to make her realize that she's a robot, because of actions that Jack is doing, her husband, or who she thinks is her husband is setting things up without her knowledge. So Jack Quaid's character is he's forced to tell her that she's a person, and all hell breaks loose. And I thought it was interesting. I think it also kind of touches on, how far with this AI world that we're living in, how far are we going to take this AI stuff? And then, when we start incorporating feelings and incorporating memories, how that can become horrible, right? So that's why it got on my mind, just because I feel like it's almost like a Black Mirror episode as well. It can happen,
Yeah.
So
yeah, it is a good one, and I love Sophie Thatcher. She's one of my favorite new actresses, young actresses. She never missteps. She's always good.
I thought she was a robot the whole time.
She was so good. I love Jack Quaid. Jack Quaid's normally like the good guy, so this was, when he kind of stepped off a little bit, I was like, oh, okay, we're seeing, a little bit of a different side of him. I love the two other actors who were the gay couple.
Oh yeah.
Because the one is in What We Do in the Shadows, the other one's been in a million things I've seen him in. So I enjoyed them both as well. Yeah, I mean, to me, that one's more like an honorable mention. I did really enjoy it, though. I make sure no one's just between you and me. I love when they're like, go to sleep, and the robot goes. I'm like, I wish I could do that.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
go to sleep.
That became a running joke in my relationship after that. That's a running joke that we have. So yeah, it would be a nice feature at times.
Yeah. Go sleep.
Right. Even myself to sleep. That'd be nice.
I know, right? Or have someone someone help you, put you to sleep, and then wake you up when wake me up when it's all over.
Right.
Yeah, that sounds good. All right, my number 3 is The Ugly Stepsister, directed by Emily Bilchfeld. And I'm going to mess up these names. Starring Leah Myron and Thea Sophie Loch Ness. Her name sounds like Loch Ness, like the Loch Ness Monster. I love this. I love fairy tales. I've always loved fairy tales. I did my master's thesis on mothers and fairy tales. I love retelling of fairy tales, and I've written several myself where it's told from like the witch's perspective or whatever. So this is obviously the stepsister of Cinderella. It's her story. And the younger stepsister is great. She could be a final girl. She's really great. But this has a lot of body horror. It does not shy away from the body horror at all. And I know a lot of people said they had to turn away while watching it. And there are scenes that people are like, I couldn't even get through that scene. It really bothered me. I didn't have that problem with this. I do sometimes, but for this one, for some reason, I was able to, stomach all of it. I was really enjoying it, I think. I liked a lot of, what it was saying about women and being beautiful and being the perfect spouse for this prince, who the prince actually sucks. He's horrible. Like, who wants him? He's a loser. But we're all trying to clamor to get him and get his attention. So I really liked it. I thought it was beautifully shot. Yeah. And it is startling. And if you have problems with like really close up graphic stuff, then it's not something you should probably be watching. Did you see that one?
I didn't. You got the deep cuts. That's good. I got more of the mainstream cuts. You got the deep ones. No, I didn't watch that, but it sounds interesting. It sounds fun. So yeah, I would like to watch it. It's probably gonna be hard to get someone to watch it with me, so I might have to stomach that.
Yeah, I think. Maybe not, though. I'm thinking of someone who might sit through it with you, because she's a fan of fairy tales as well. So maybe would be able to handle it, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'll give it a try. But yeah, it sounds fun. Sounds like an interesting take on the story. And that kind of segues into number 2 for me.
All right. There you go. Number 2. Go ahead.
So, yeah, speaking of like fairy tales, I don't know how fairy tale you would consider it, but Frankenstein, directed by Guillermo del Toro, that's starring Jacob Elois and then Oscar Isaac. So I watched this on a plane on my phone. Yeah. But I was glued to the screen. Oscar Isaac plays Dr. Frankenstein. and he's not really likable. That's kind of always been the Frankenstein story, but I feel like this one really pushed that narrative. Like, the person who created the monster is actually the monster, right? It's kind of what it's saying. Yeah, and in fact, the monster he creates is more likable than him, right? So the actual monster of Frankenstein, because people sometimes think Frankenstein is the monster, but the monster is the monster of Frankenstein, right? But at the same token, Dr. Frankenstein is a monster too. So I felt like it was like a dark romance, which I usually don't like. I'm not into that type of, I'm more, if it's going to be horror, keep it horror. Like I'm not into the romantic genre as much, right? Like, but the way Del Toro does it, it was I thought he did a great way of, making this monster likable, and then even showing that he kind of had more of a he was more of a human than some of the humans he was around, as far as how he looked at the world and how he treated people, the monster. So I thought it was great storytelling, and you're rooting for the Frankenstein monster the whole time. So and I mean the intro is awesome too. The way the whole movie has you from the beginning to the end, in my opinion. There's really no room to look away. You're kind of in it for the whole ride. So that was my number 2. I loved it.
I think this was my other snub, and I'll tell you why. It was gorgeous. It was a gorgeous film. The way it was filmed, it was beautiful. The costumes were amazing. Everything Mia Goth wore, I was like, oh my god, look at, I'm like, I gotta wear that costume. I gotta wear that.
She's becoming the queen of horror as well. Mia Goth. She's like in everything right now.
Isn't she?
But, sorry. Yeah,
she was good. She was really good. My issue was, and I don't think this is much of a spoiler. I mean, I'm building on what you were saying. So I've taught Frankenstein a million times. I've sat on scholarly panels about Frankenstein. I've done articles about Frank. I'm deep in Frankenstein.
There's a lot of stuff out there with Frankenstein.
Yeah, I'm a Frankenstein scholar. So I was a little turned off by how bad Victor was and how good the monster was. There was no gray area. Whereas in the novel, it's a little more gray. There's a little blending there of Victor has his good and his bad. The monster has his good and his bad. And so it makes their dynamic a little more interesting to me. So
that makes sense.
Yeah.
I feel like if the movie would have shown that more, the ending would make more sense. Because even the ending is kind of like, well, how did we get there?
Yeah.
So I get what you're saying for sure. Yeah.
But, that's Del Toro's interpretation. He's allowed to make choices and interpret it as he wants. I mean, this was, out of all, I've read Frankenstein. I've seen probably every film version there is. Out of all of them, this is the nastiest Victor ever. Yeah. Like, I was just
not likable.
Oh, I hated him so. Every time he was on the screen, I'm like, this guy. Yeah. Like, I just ugh.
Now you mention it, yeah, I think that's the most unlikable Victor ever, because there's been Van Helsing. I mean, just for me personally, there's Van Helsing. There's Brainstorm Dracula. Like, there's a bunch of different ones, and he really made him like super unlikable.
Yeah, he's such a villain that it's kind of like.
It's nice to see Oscar Isaac, because Oscar Isaac never really plays villains like that either. Yeah. So it was nice to kind of see him be a bad guy, I guess.
Yeah. No, the acting was great. I mean, I really, like, if I weren't so entrenched in Frankenstein, I would probably be like, yeah, no notes, Guillermo del Toro, perfect. But because I come from this background with Frankenstein, it makes me be a little just picky about some of those things. So I just have my own take on it. But it was gorgeous. It was unbelievable. I'm like, how much money went into this movie? My God, it's really just beautiful to watch. Okay, we're on number 2. So my number 2 is Bring Her Back by Danny Philippou and Michael Philippou with Sally Hawkins and Billy Barrett. I really like stories where children, and I know these are teens and not necessarily children, like young children, but I like when children in horror know something bad is going on and no one will listen to them. Like no one will pay any attention or come help them or come rescue them. And it really falls on them, like Black Phone or something like that, where like it really falls on the children to have to solve things and figure it out. So that really attracted me. Sally Hawkins, I thought her performance was out of this world. I was like, this is award-winning acting. She's not even Australian, and she never dropped that accent once. God bless her. I know I saw on Reddit, Australians were like, what? She's not Australian? Like they thought she was Australian. Like she was that good. I loved the brother-sister relationship, the stepbrother, stepsister, whatever. I loved their relationship. I loved that they had that little like coded language between them. They had those little secrets between them. He wanted to take care of her. And then that made me so angry when they're gaslighting him. Like you're wetting the bed, you're abusive, you're this, you're that. And he's like, no, I'm not. I know I'm not, but then there's a part of him that's like, am I? What's going on here? And so it was, for me, it was like an emotional watch. I was angry. I was, all these things. I loved too that the directors showed us those messy Russian VHS, like they're grainy, those VHS tapes. Like they trusted us to understand what was going on. Again, without like giving like, let me step back and explain what's happening. They just sort of like, here it is. You guys can figure it out. You see what's happening. I really love that they did that. And it's just, that to me, it was so, and I do like talk to her. I really loved Bring Her Back. I thought it was really a phenomenal film. I thought it was so well done. I feel like these brothers are, keep making movies, guys. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it because they're really, really talented. They're so good.
Yeah, I feel like I need to rewatch that one too. I mean, it's here. I have it at number 5, but I may need to rewatch it. I really think my score was affected from watching Talk to Me maybe 2 weeks right before this movie came out. Because again, I have Talk to Me at a super high regards, but yeah, now that you mentioned like the TV stuff and having to put things together, it was like a puzzle, which made it fun, right? You had to watch it and you were intrigued the whole time, or I was.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. All right, drum roll. What's your number 1?
All right, my number 1 is Weapons. I feel like that might be yours, but directed by Zach Krieger, starring Julia Garner, Josh Brolin, and Amy Madigan. So this movie had me on the edge of my seat. It has a fun mystery behind it. It has a very interesting villain, Aunt Gladys, and in fact, she was so interesting that I've read. I don't know if it's true, but I've read that they're making a prequel based on her.
I've heard that, yeah.
Which would be cool. I would like to watch it because, well, before I get into that, what I like about it, I like when movies just drop in characters. I think you kind of said something like this earlier. You drop in characters and you don't really get a background on them or a full explanation. And the antagonist, the villain of the story, or she just kind of comes in and changes the whole movie, and there's really no explanation to why she's there. They say she's an aunt, how, right? And she's kind of like a force in this movie, right? She was a scary presence. It had a lot of jump scares, and it's kind of why it's at my number 1, because I just remember being very tense and on the edge of my seat a lot of times in this movie, and a lot of times where some jump scares are cheap, I feel like these jump scares were great. The way they did it. And I like how they tell the story from 4 different perspectives. That was fun. That was an interesting choice for a horror movie. We don't see that as much in horror. I thought it was fun. My only gripe would be just certain issues. My only con of it, I have a con for everything because I just kind of figured I pick things out sometimes. And one of the cons was just Gladys. She appears in certain spots. To me, it doesn't make sense. Like, how are you here? How are you there?
Yeah.
I guess the prequel will kind of explain it more.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my only issue with it. But maybe the prequel will kind of explain for me how her powers work. I guess is my main issue. It's like how deep, how crazy do her powers get, right? Because there's things she can do, and then there's times where she pops up and it just doesn't. It's just kind of like, wow, like how are you there? But I loved it though. Other than that, I loved it. I thought it was a great watch. I recommend anybody to go watch it. The ending's really fun too and funny.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, we agree on number one. My number one was weapons. I love the multiple point of view. I actually, my book, The Kitchen Witches, does that. It takes a bracelet party and tells it from different points of view. I love that. I love that, doing that and being able to see it through different lenses. Like, how did the different characters see it through different lenses? I love, well, Josh Brolin, who's too damn old to have an 8-year-old son. He does my favorite thing in this film where he rolls. I love when people like clear off a table and roll out a map. That's my favorite thing in movies. And I'm always saying like, wait, because like Michael now he'll be like, let's go, paddleboarding. I'm like, wait. Like I want to like roll out a map. Like that's my fantasy in life. It's just like clear off and roll out a map. So I love that he does that. The kids, they're so spooky the way they run. They're so spooky. Yeah. And again, this is another like, no one's paying attention. They're all running in the same direction. Why is Josh Brolin the only one looking on a map? Like, why aren't the rest of you people going? Where were they going? Why? Yeah. Why aren't you looking? The car scene with Julia Garner's asleep in the car. Oh my God. Oh my God.
That's an awesome scene. That's one of those, I think, iconic scenes. Unreal. Yeah.
I was like so scared. And because of her and because of the druggy guy checking the cars because he was going to steal stuff, I'm like now paranoid about locking my car door at all times, thanks to this movie. I love Julia Garner. I love her. She's too much. She's too much. And she was in an honorable mention of mine, which was Wolfman. Which I loved because I was a daddy's girl, and that's a daddy's girl movie. But what that film and this one had in common as well, I think, I feel like Weapons is about parentified children, like children of alcoholics or children of drug addicts who no one's caring for them. And no one else is really paying attention. Like, the only one, the teacher, Julia Garner's the only one who's really like, I need to find this kid. I need to find that one kid. I need to help him. And everyone else is like, no, leave him alone. He's fine. He's fine. He's not fine. He's not fine at all. Like it's sort of, and Wolfman, I thought too, is a little bit about addiction and maybe mental illness and not wanting to harm the people you love. But this I really thought I felt like it was about that, about like children who are in kind of neglectful, abusive homes and like nobody's looking, nobody's paying attention, nobody's caring for them. And, this poor little kid, nobody's watching him. But
that kid was super cute. Just the kid who's in Weapons, the one who survives. And
yeah.
Oh man, he's adorable, and he was a great actor too. I look forward to seeing him in more stuff. Me and the person I watched it with were loving him the whole time. Every time we saw him, we felt so bad for him too.
Yeah, right. You're like, somebody help him, And then, like I said, Julia Gardner's character tries to, but everybody's like, no, you have to stay away from him. You can't go near him. And I'm like, why? Why can't she help him? He needs somebody. I was so happy when she and the Josh Brolin character, like, toward the end teamed up. And I was like, thank God someone's trying to do something here. But yeah, and I loved the beginning and the end with that voiceover narration too. That was really nicely done. The kind of into the scene. It's like, yeah, this is good.
Yeah, surprisingly funny. Very funny as well.
Yeah. No, there were parts of it that were really funny. And I can't even remember if there was much of a soundtrack in that movie.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Like compared to like Sinners or something, which is so musical.
Right. No, I think this one was a lot more silent. A lot more silent. Even that long scene that we're talking about when she's walking and the main character's in the car. I mean, I think the whole scene is pretty much silent for the most part.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think all you like heard was like the door opening or something. Like, it was really God, it was well done. That was a really well done movie. And wasn't that the same director who did Barbarian?
I think so. Yeah.
I
And
love Barbarian.
Barbarian's good.
I
Yeah.
loved it.
I mean, I think Weapons, not only was it one of the best horror movies of the year, it was one of the best movies of the year. I mean, I don't know what other movies, I mean,
maybe the past 5 years. Like,
yeah,
you know,
there was a lot of hype behind it, and I mean, everybody that went to it liked it for the most part. So, I mean, it's so much hype that they're doing a prequel about, you know, the villain from what I've heard. So that kind of shows you how you know how it was received.
Well, like you said, she's such a unique villain, and I did not. It took me a while to pick her. You know, in the beginning, I'm like, "What's going on here?" And I kind of, my mind went into all different directions, and I really it kind of snuck up on me. It wasn't like, you know, a lot of movies I'll go into and I'm like, I know what's going on.
Figure it out real quick.
I know right away. This one, no, I was kind of like on the edge of my seat, and it kept my attention the whole way through. You know, there was not a moment that I wasn't fully engaged, even with the shifting of the character's perspective. I wanted to know, like, I want to know the police officer's perspective. I want to know the drug addict's perspective. I felt like that gave me so much information on the film that I loved it. I loved the way they handled that. It was really, to me, it was like a perfect movie. It really was. I
mean, just about, I think. I think, again, that might have been the best movie of the year. I mean, flat out. I don't know what else you could say was better than Weapons.
Yeah. Nothing to me. Absolutely nothing else. So do you have any other honorable mentions that you wanted to mention, or did we hit on?
So I did have an honorable mention, but it's a show, Welcome to Derry. I'm not sure if you watched Welcome to Derry yet, but it's based off of Stephen King's It.
Yeah.
It's kind of
I haven't seen it, but yeah.
Oh, you have to watch it. So it's a show on HBO. They just wrapped it up.
I ain't got HBO money. I ain't rich like you people.
Well, we need to stream it or something. But it's basically a prequel showing It and kind of how he was before we get to the movies. And he's much stronger, and he does a lot more within the town. And these last 2-3 episodes, just the last 2 episodes, I think, is worth a watch. A lot of horror elements, a lot of it's kind of funny as well. And Skarsgård comes back and plays It, and he's really into it. And and from what I heard, he has a lot of creative choices in it, and I loved it. So that's my honorable mention is Welcome to Derry.
Oh, I love Bill Skarsgård. He's my favorite Skarsgård. I love him.
Yeah, I never realized how many there were, but there's a lot of them.
Okay, so I have a few then. I have 3. I mean, I already mentioned a couple as we were going through, but Dangerous Animals, which is about a serial killer who takes people on a boat and feeds them to sharks. So it's like check all the things I love in the world. You know, I'm like, you can't go wrong with this movie for me. The Rule of Jenny Penn, which was interesting. It takes place in an old folks' home, so it's frightening just because we're all gonna get old, and it's like, oh no, and the one guy really bullies everybody in the home, like.
Oh, okay. One of those kind of okay.
Yeah, it's John Lithgow, and he terrorizes. It's like, oh no, it's bad.
Right.
So that it's creepy. And then Clown in a Cornfield.
I didn't watch that. Did you like? Was it good?
Oh, it's so good. Like the clown's shoes squeak when he's walking. It's great. It's great. It's slasher. I mean, again, it has like an 80s vibe. I love 80s horror. 80s horror is like my jam because that's when I was young and I'm watching all these movies and I was my first Final Girls, my first slashers, but it is all brand new. So it had that feel for me, which I loved. It was funny. It was good. It was really, really good. And again, my husband loved it. Like that was one of his favorite movies. If you were to ask him his favorite of the year, Clown in a Cornfield would be.
Okay. All right, I gotta check it out then. I gotta check that out.
He loved it because it was very entertaining. It's unlike these other ones where we're like, you can really go back and analyze. You're not going to analyze anything in Clown in a Cornfield, but it's fun.
Yeah. It's fun. Okay, awesome. I gotta watch Final Destination. Now that you Final Destination.
At least the opener, like I said, to me, Scream, the first Scream has the best opening of, I know people love Jaws, but to me, that first Scream with Drew Barrymore is like the definitive opener of a horror film. That was unbelievable. This comes real close. This one's really, really, it's wild. It is wild. So I definitely think you should watch it. I think you'd enjoy it.
No, I will. I'll check it out for sure.
Any other final thoughts, comments, 2025, anything you're looking forward to?
As far as
the prequel for Weapons, anything
else? I was going to say the prequel. I mean, other than that, no, I'm not really completely tapped into what's coming out next year. But I'm just, whatever comes out, whenever I hear buzz, I'll go check them out. But nothing on the top of my mind right now.
Okay. Well, I'm going to have to give you I already gave a friend of yours my Shudder login. You need to get into Shudder because there is going to be a movie coming out in January called Mother of Flies. And there's this family they're the Addams family, but they're not Morticia and Gomez. Like, these are real human beings whose last name is Addams. And they make movies for Shudder. And their movies are always amazing. They're low budget, but they're amazing. And this one looks really good, Mother of Flies, and it's going to be out in January. So I'm super, super looking forward to that. And then once you have my Shudder login, I do have a list of things that you have to watch, like Mads, and like there's a whole bunch.
Okay. No, sounds good. Thanks for having me on. I look forward to seeing what comes out next year. Excited for what comes out in 2026.
Yeah, we'll definitely be chatting about it. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you, everybody, for watching. Again, please put your top 5 or 6 or 7, whatever, in the comments. Let us know. And we are going to sign off now.